The Oklahoma Sooners were dominant in the Norman Regional over the weekend. What's coming next in the Super Regionals was discussed next on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners went 3-0 in the Norman Regional, outscoring their opponents 28-1 in the 3 games, picking up run rule wins over Binghamton and Kansas on Friday and Saturday before their 8-1 win over Michigan on Sunday to move on to the Super Regionals. It's the 16th consecutive time Oklahoma has made it to the Super Regional round, and they've won 19 regional round games in a row dating back to 2019.
You said 19? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's just excellence right there. So you beat Michigan 8-1, which is the only team that got a score. Ladies, I'm a little disappointed in you. You gave up a score? What are we doing here? Kidding. No. That's fantastic. And that was what you were hoping would happen here in this regional, that you would get a few run rules, get out these games real quick, and then continue to just be dominant. Man, I'm ready to see what they look like going into the Supers and if they can pull off a few more run rules. I feel like they're starting to hit their stride now. Like late in the season, things weren't going, of course, perfect. The Georgia game didn't go the way that we was hoping to go, but Georgia's been surging as well. So I got to give them their props. But this team is so young, John, that it makes me wonder if now they're really starting to really pick things up and that they're going to actually see a massive increase in performance over the next couple weeks.
So OU softball allowed just 6 hits over the weekend. Yeah, 6. Audrey Lowry on Friday threw a 2-hitter against Binghamton. I say Audrey Lowry, but Audrey Lowry, Berkeley Zake, and Alyssa Parker combined for a 2-hitter. And then on Saturday against Kansas, Miley Guachino, she allowed a 1-hit, or she threw a 1-hitter against Kansas. And then Lowry came back and she was really good again against Michigan. You allowed the 1 run. It was a solo home run, but ultimately only allowed 2 hits in her outing. Oh, sorry. She allowed 3 hits, but then the bullpen came in and didn't allow a hit or a walk between Kirsten Deal and Sydney Berzon. So just a really, really strong performance from the circle for the Sooners all weekend long. The bullpen was really, really good. They got good innings for their young relievers. The starters were great. And then also got to mention Kasidi Pickering, who had a tough April, but has come on strong in postseason play. Now she's got 3 home runs in her last 5 games. She had 2 home runs over the weekend, 1 against Binghamton, 1 against Kansas, and just is looking like she's hit her stride as well.
Exactly. It feels like they're now on that upward trajectory that we've been hoping for in preparation for the tourney, the most important part of the year, right? Winning a bunch of games, getting yourself a high seed, being able to host some matches, and then getting your butt back to Oklahoma City so you can go ahead and win it all again. And so they're on that path. They're, with them being young, this is going to be a team that's probably going to build on itself for the next couple of years. But I do feel like they're on that upward swing. It's funny, if you go look at the comment section and a lot of the posts around OU softball, the biggest complaint is what? Pitching. That's basically what you hear people constantly complaining about. And it's like, give them some time. They're young. They're still getting themselves going. They're young. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you give up, 6 hits over the weekend. You give up 1 run. You're like, oh, okay. It looks like they're starting to hit where you want them to be. Again, Georgia game didn't end up like you wanted to. It would have been nice to win not only the regular season SEC title, but also win the tournament. But what ifs? No, that don't matter. You still end up hosting. You're still one of the top seeds. And now all you got to do is get to Oklahoma City, head on to the championship, to the World Series and knock all these folks out and really shut up the haters, right? Because the haters are here to see our downfall because Oklahoma's been so dominant in softball. All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. Keep the upward trajectory. I expect them to end up in the final series.
I think what you mentioned about them being young is a really underrated part of this team. Audrey Lowry, she's just a sophomore. Miley Guachino, just a sophomore. And then you talk about the bulk of the lineup are juniors and under. You only have Isabella Emmerling and Abby Dayton as your seniors in the lineup this year. So you've got a lot of this that's going to come back next year. But the other part of that, Jay, is you only have 2 players on this team that have won a national championship. And so this team is learning how to win. And that's a process. And it takes time to figure those things out. It takes time to figure out that, hey, if we're up 5-0 on a team in the SEC, you can't go to sleep on it. You cannot rest on your laurels and expect you're just going to walk away with a dub. What do we see from Ole Miss and Texas Tech? Especially when you're playing these good teams in the postseason, you cannot sit back and relax until you have the final out in the game. Texas Tech and Ole Miss, or Texas Tech taught Ole Miss that the hard way. And so this is a team that came in, they locked in, and they took care of business this weekend. So really, really strong performance from them. Baseball heading into the postseason, coming out of a series loss to Tennessee. They'll face LSU in the SEC tournament. Baseball is going to make the NCAA tournament. They're not going to host. They'll have a hard path to Super Regionals, but this is a team that's capable of putting up some big numbers and going on a run.
Yeah, if they do it right, they'll be heading to Omaha. That's what's most important. Mm-hmm. They need to figure it out. But, yeah, they've got a tough path ahead of them. And just the season hasn't ended the way that we had all hoped, especially with how hot they started. They're kind of going the opposite direction. But I think they're starting to stable out now. It feels like at least. But, yeah, that Tennessee series was not what I was hoping we would have gotten. I was hoping we was able to pull that one out. Yeah. But, they won't host, and that's okay. They'll be just outside of hosting, too. That's the thing that sucks, is that it won't be that, there's like, oh, there's no chance of hosting. No, they had a chance. They had an outside chance. They were a few spots away, and it just did not finish out right. But as long as they lock in, get the pitching back going, keep the bats going, they should find a way to at least advance a little bit further into the playoffs and hopefully get themselves to where they can at least make supers.
All right. Hey, Jay Down was in Baton Rouge over the weekend for his daughter's graduation. Tell us about Baton Rouge real quick, but also there was a special guest at this graduation ceremony.
It's kind of funny. Yeah. So my daughter graduated from LSU. Yeah, I know. What ifs. But while we were there and I looked up, you see this giant human being walking around. Like, who is that? Sure enough, it's Shaq. Someone can't miss. And he graduated with a master's again. So this is his 5th degree. 5. That dude loves to learn. And that was basically the premise of his commencement speech after he walked the stage. He basically told them that, always be learning, always be curious, always, chase knowledge and all of that or whatnot. And it was good to see, him even at his big age and how rich he is and how famous he is. He's still out there trying to learn. He's still trying to grow and still become a better person. And thought that was pretty cool to see him getting that degree or whatnot. And, he told everybody now they can tell everyone that Shaq was lucky enough to graduate with them. So, hey, we taking advantage of that, baby. We're going to use that phrase going on. Like, Shaq actually got a chance to graduate with my kid. That's a lucky guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He just always seems like such a great person, and he's personality.
He's a great guy.
And seeing some of the videos from over the weekend down at the LSU commencement was just a lot of fun. So congratulations to your daughter. Jay is on dad duty this weekend, so did the graduation and then made the trek over to Florida to help move his daughter into her new place out there. So shout out to Jay, shout out to his daughter for just having some great bonding time this weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Ready to go home. I'm ready for my bed.
That's right. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button to let you know when new episodes drop. But if you want ad-free versions of Locked On Sooners, go check out the Supercast in the Everydayers Club at lockedonsooners.supercast.com, where you can get ad-free audio versions of Locked On Sooners directly to your podcast feeds for $5 a month or $50 per year. You also get the invite to the members-only chat. Go follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, for more Oklahoma Sooners and college football coverage. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner.